Welcome to this episode of Downtime, part of the Impact Leadership 365 Network. Today we'll be diving into the profound significance of fatherhood and exploring how it stands as the very first and most essential form of leadership within any community. Often when we think about leadership, our minds turn to CEOs, coaches, or community organizers. Yet the role of father is one of the earliest and most impactful demonstrations of leadership that many of us experience. It's where values are shaped, character is built, and lessons of resiliency, empathy, and responsibility are taught. Not just through words, but through daily actions. Fatherhood sets the foundation for the next generation, influencing how they engage with the world and lead their own lives. In this episode, we'll explore how fatherhood is not just about being a provider or protector, but about leading with intention, empathy, and vision. We'll discuss the powerful ways in which fathers, whether biological or father figures, shape communities by instilling core values and guiding principles in their children. We'll hear stories from this father right here to my right, who's embraced the role of father with passion and purpose, and he will share practical tips on how to harness the power of fatherhood as a transformative force in both home and broader community. He's a proud father of three. He's an educator, ex-basketball player, and also still does coaching on the side. He's active in this community, and he understands the importance of leadership and why fatherhood is the cornerstone of leadership in every community. He's going to help us to uncover why fatherhood is the cornerstone of leadership and how every father can step into the role with confidence, love, and impact. So, Valerio, I appreciate you being here with us.
Man, glad to be here, Scott, man. Glad to be here.
All right. So, kind of start from the beginning and kind of tell us, like, your sports journey.
Ooh, I'm about to go back, man. Well, man, basketball has just always been just around me, you know. But really what got me into it, man, I was tired of my brother whooping my head every day. And bro, man, it just brought some fire into me just to continue to just practice and get better, whatever the case may be. But man, I played basketball at John, bro, man. I was fairly good. And first team all district, honorable mention all state. Went to play at Grambling State. Just went on and doing it. And I went into coaching, and that was a blessing because it just taught me how to deal with kids, work with kids, all that good stuff. And man, it's on, man. It was just a blessing from the start to the beginning. I mean, from the beginning to the end. So man,
okay. All right. So you yourself, you've seen the power of the importance of leadership and how sports can kind of guide that path, even like as far as the coaches you had in your life and kind of the role that they play. So kind of talk about that.
Man, well, and I could go on the whole spiel with this, man, but one thing coaching has taught me, I don't even think you asked me that question, but I really wanted to.
Go ahead.
One thing coaching taught me was about patience, man. It's like one kid I could push, and one kid I can't. You know what I'm saying? One kid I could say, man, we about to do suicides, layup drills, all that good stuff. But this kid over here, I'm going to have to kind of slow it down and like dumb down whatever I'm trying to do so he could catch up to speed with it. But man, like I said, the coaches I had, man, it was more of a like pick up the ball and go. We don't have time, which made me, catch on things a little bit faster. But at the end of the day, man, I had so much, not only coaches, but fathers, people who would hold you accountable and would just stay on you, not only on the court, but off the court. I'll be walking home from practice and they're like, where you going? Coach, I'm going home. But, just the simple fact they driving by, asking me where I'm going, what I'm doing, how I'm doing, So that instance of me just growing up taught me how to handle myself as a coach, as an educator, as a father.
So basically, you saw your coaches as fathers, like, or the role that they played. It was important in the community just as much as because some kids didn't have dads at home.
Right.
We played. We saw people who didn't, have those parental guidance figures at home, and you saw the role that it played, and you saw it for yourself.
Most definitely.
So kind of what was those early, like you talked about, like walking home and they making sure that you get where you're supposed to get to. Is there like any particular moment where you realize like this is more than just somebody at the school working, but somebody who's impactful to me?
Really just how they walk, you know, and me just observing as a little kid. Like I said, I wasn't with them just all the time, you know, but me just observing just what they do on a daily basis just made me like, hey, I want to be like that, you know. I kind of want something more than life, in life, you know. I want to affect kids and the people around me like they do. I want to kind of walk like them, you know. So that right there just transformed my mind. 'Cause like I said, man, I had a whole lot of help, you know, people from the church, coaches, uncles, all that good stuff, man. But, you know, when I had a coach in my life, it kind of directed me in the right direction, where I needed to be, you know. Not just putting everybody on the backside who have helped me, because y'all have helped me, you know. But, you know, coaching has really just kind of changed my life in that aspect of people who was coaching in my life.
Yeah, so you grew up in the game. You grew up playing. You grew up, you know, like you said, getting your head beat in by your big brother. You had to stop that. You know, so you know also too like the importance of work and why having a work ethic is important. Can you kind of talk about that? Because that's what I know you from. I know you from having a masterful work ethic.
Most definitely, man. It's kind of funny now, but like I said, back in the day, man, I ain't like to get beat by nobody. I mean, you came to my house, I got to win. That's my home. I could shoot on the other side of the basket. I could play on the dirt better than you. You know, it was just, this is my place, my safe haven, man. So if you beat me here, that's like you beat me up in the fight. So I got to get you, you know, every day. Not only one day, but every day. But, man, my work ethic came from just want better for myself. Man, I don't care if I'm playing soccer or lacrosse or baseball, but, man, I want to be the best, whatever I want to be, you know.
Yeah.
And like I said, man, I just love the game, man. I grew up around it, man. I seen a whole lot of my friends do it and go to college and just do something with it. You know, travel the world, meet new people. I wanted that. And at a young age, I saw that, like, man, I want that too. But, man, it's just a blessing that how God just aligned me the right way to get what I want while using the game of basketball. You know, also coaching too. Yeah. You know, because I learned a lot from that.
All right, so Valerio, kind of tell me, what was it like, man, when you became a dad? Like, what in that crossover? Like, you've been a player, you've worked, to get to a spot in basketball. You've coached. Now you're a dad. What is that?
I wasn't ready. I ain't gonna lie to you, I wasn't ready, man. It's crazy, man. I've been around kids, man. I was a counselor at the time, man. I always been around kids, helping people, kids, all that good stuff, man. But I just wasn't ready. But like I said, man, having kids, man, it trained me to be a good father. I said I was a bad father when I had my first child, but man, it was tough. I had to balance my job, my relationship with my wife, make sure that's good, and make sure I'm having more time with my kids and spending time with my kids, man. Right. But it was tough at the beginning, man. My daughter, she broke me. She broke me, man. But at the end of the day, man, it helped me to become a better man. It helped me to become focused. It helped me to become goal-driven. It helped me just to, I don't know, I just transformed to a whole different person, you know? And like I said, I don't think I was on the wrong track. You know, I had a good job, but it just kind of pushed me to do better and want more, you know? And it brought me and my wife together, like closer. You know, we leaned on each other more, man. We just fed off each other more. Just because of that one kid, which is crazy, you know. And me talking to you, it sounds crazy. You know, how can a kid bring somebody together? And most of the time I hear people how kids break people apart, you know. But Leah, man, my daughter, she was tough, man. Waking up at 4 a.m, giving her a bottle, taking her to daycare and feeding her, crying, man. I'm getting tired talking about it, but
yeah.
It was tough, man. I'm telling you. But man, what really pushed me to be a good father, man. It was one day, man. Leah was just crying real bad, and I was at the house by myself. Usually, my wife she'll be there. And, you know, I could just throw my daughter to her, go in the room, chill, whatever case may be, which I dads normally do. But anyway,
Yeah.
she wasn't there that day. And man, when I tell you, man, I didn't know what was going on. I started crying myself. Like, tell me what's going on. What you want me to do? You don't want no bottle. I'm taking you outside. I'm pushing on the swing. I'm taking you back in the house. And man, I just started praying. Like, I was like, God, just help me. Just help me. I ain't get on my knees. I'm just walking around the house. God, help me. And like at that moment, like Leah just started looking at me and just, stop crying. I don't know if this guy was telling her to chill out or whatever the case may be, but man,
give him a break, Leah. Come on.
I remember that day, man. Like, bro, just help me.
Yeah.
Something, I'm stressed. Like, and that's what happened. But,
wow. I remember when I knew that you were, I saw how kids change people. I remember it was something going on, and I remember it was Leah, and she was running and doing something. And I know you from sports, and I watched you, like this gladiator mentality, like, like kind of how you got after it. And I watched you so gently handle that. So you really like came out, like you were playing ball and you stopped and you really like kind of just centered yourself on her and you broke all the way down. And I'm watching you handle this situation and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, man, like, I'm telling you, man, it's different, man. I'm telling you, man. Because at this, I think I kind of remember what you're talking about. But if I ain't do something, it would just go. It's gonna be devastating, man. The crime was gonna stop. None of that was gonna stop, man.
Right. You talked about your wife, and just as far as like, and having to balance that relationship. Like, how have you been able to balance like your professional responsibilities with managing that?
Well,
the marriage.
Well, we pray together.
Okay.
And it's been a long journey, man. We not goals, man. I'm letting you know we're not goals, bro. But I guess you could say we're goals now.
You goals because y'all work through it.
Most definitely. But it's been trial and error, just trying to get right. But like I said, man, I loved her, she loved me, and we made it happen. And that's all that really mattered at this point, man. Cause she worked with me. Some days it was 80-20, and she had to be 80 and I had to be 20. It was none of this 50-50 thing that y'all see on Facebook and all that good. That stuff that ain't.
Somebody's always carrying more.
Exactly.
I think Michelle Obama talked about that on Barack. Like, there's stretches of her marriage.
Exactly.
She talked about that.
Come on now, Scott, man. Yeah. But man, I remember certain instances she was working hard, man. I was still in college. I ain't never just had a steady job while I was playing basketball, going to college or whatever. But we first had Leah, and I ain't had no job. So you could basically say she was all 100. And I'm talking about, man, paying the bills, all that good stuff. But, at the time, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to get a job. Even though I'm in college and all that good stuff, I'm going to have to do some, support or whatever the case may be. But you see how this transition happening, like I said, it ain't never a 50-50 deal. It's always somebody going to be carrying most of the load or helping that other person. Because like I said, man, it was times I was dead broke. And she carried the family, Kind of switch roles like that. But, love is always the main aspect to keep people together. Kept us together, And I feel like we loved each other that much and we was able to work out anything that we went through, Me losing a job or not having a job, or her losing a job or not having a job, or whatever the case may be, we was able to work through that because we loved each other. We want to see each other prosper. Now, I feel like we good.
Okay. Okay. A father now, and again, the children aspect, the wife aspect, the play basketball. You come up with a basketball camp, your own camp.
I did.
How and why? Like what was that?
Well, it was growth and development.
All right.
It was growth and development, and me and my homeboy Puddin, shout out to Puddin, we did it. We did it together, and it really wasn't about basketball at first. It was more of like a mentorship. How can we better these kids, not only on the court, but by using basketball, to kind of get through them, whatever case may be. Yeah. We had people coming in talking to the kids. We had food delivered by Pine Belt. We had a whole lot of churches and people involved just to help, hell of a lot of hands in this project. You was in there too. You know, good speaker, man. But man,
Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, man. But it really started off, what can I do to make this community better? You know, because like I said, the basketball gonna stop one day. You know, you ain't gonna play basketball field.
Right.
Or you might not even get to the next level. So you got to know how to move and operate and build relationships and how to talk to people and keep a relationship with God and just all these key things that you got to do to just prosper in life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that was the beginning of growth and development.
Okay.
You know, but you know, I knew I needed something to kind of keep the attention going. You know, so we kind of used basketball as for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Basketball was the tool to get them.
Right.
You had all these you had these things you want to instill in them, and it's the same way like in these schools now. You know, the sports is kind of gonna be the thing. You know, we used to say you would see a kid who wasn't motivated in class, and then you know the school want to threaten to kick him off the team, and it's like that's a good and a bad idea because if he's not on the team.
He ain't coming to school.
He not motivated at all.
Exactly.
But you also too gotta also hold him accountable. So it's finding that right balance. You gotta know. You said it in the beginning when we first started. Which button to push. You can't coach every kid the same.
Right.
And for a lot of coaches out there, you can't coach every kid the same. It's just you gotta know. We have a saying even in Boys and Girls Club. You know, I'll treat all of you fairly, but I won't treat all of you the same.
Come on now.
It's not fair. What works for Valerio may not work for me. You know, I might need a little extra push and attention.
Oh, definitely.
So tell me this. What's a lesson or something through sports, something you learned through sports that translates into you as a father and you on your job? Like what did you learn in that world that still serves you today?
Okay. Well, having patience, you know, and this kind of happened recently, man. Rio, my middle child, Lord bless him, but he's playing he played baseball, man. And he was just going through it. I don't know if he didn't want to play, it was hot, or whatever the case may be. So I'm coaching him at home, you know, trying to get him together, man. And the more I push, the more he pulled back. The more I do this, because, you know, I want him to be the best, you know, because I feel like I was the best in whatever I do, so I want you to be the best. So something just told me just to kind of just push back a little bit, you know. And, man, when I push back, man, I started seeing stuff for what it was, you know, and basically just to have fun. And how that stuff transfer into fatherhood, man, sometimes you do got to pull back, man. Sometimes you might be too hard on the kids. And you might have to just take a step back, man, because our world and their world is totally different.
Right.
You know, something meaningless as far as losing a pencil might seem big to them and small to you.
Right.
You know, so sometimes you got to pull back and reevaluate the whole situation. And even when I used to coach, man, it was, you know, some kids, man, it's come to practice with a stank attitude, and we talking about boys now, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes I got to pull back and just bring them to the side and just kind of talk to them, like, what's going on, man? Something happened at home, you got beat up, or lost your girlfriend, like, what's really going on?
Right.
So, man, just having patience and knowing when to pull back and step forward, you know, and coaching and in fatherhood, man, you gotta know.
All right, Valerio. So, what are some of your strategies for maintaining your presence in each of these roles? Because you're an educator, you've coached, you know, being a father, being a husband. You got all these different things. How do you maintain a presence in each of those?
Before I even answer that question, one thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be there for my kids. I don't care where, when, how. I'm gonna be there for my kids.
Yeah.
You know, so that's number one. But how I keep that balance, man, I don't even know how to explain it. It gotta be from God. You know, just to keep that drive and energy. Because sometimes I give it all in my profession as far as being a teacher. Because you know, I love those kids like they my own, and I teach and play and just a whole lot of stuff, you know. Then I come home and it's, Daddy, can I have this? Can we do this? Can we go to the park? And I just got to turn it back on, man. And I know you know how I feel as a father just coming home from work, dealing with kids, to coming home and have the little ones asking you 50 million questions. And all you want to do is go home and lay down, you know, or watch the game. But just the mindset of them looking at me or getting older and say, man, my daddy wasn't there for me.
Yeah.
Physically, as far as time. You
Right.
might have paid for my clothes, got me toys and all that good stuff. As far as him going outside playing baseball with me or basketball, he wasn't there. Or just going outside making mud cakes out of sticks, he wasn't there. That's my biggest fear. And I just can't shake my head around it, how I could feel my kids in that aspect.
Right.
Because that's important.
Right.
Because I quit my job in the second and be a stay-at-home dad if they need it,
Right.
So, man, but me balancing all this stuff, man, it's just prayer, man. I daily pray to God and ask Him for energy and time with my kids and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's how I do.
Yeah, because, I heard it said, you hear people who are successful talk about how much they had to sacrifice. And I heard someone talk about how they gave up all of the kids' youth to be great. And I said immediately, I don't want that. I'm not interested.
That's why I said the first thing I said, I'm gonna be there for them kids.
Because I think really truly, if if what's on my heart is to be great for them, because you only get this opportunity to be a father, just this. They're only gonna be so small so long.
Right,
now,
right.
And then when they become adults, they still need you, but you don't get these years back.
Right.
I'm with you. I'm not willing to sacrifice that to be something that ultimately I'm trying to do for them anyway.
Most definitely.
So we should be able to do it together.
Most definitely.
Or definitely. I could have them along with me. So, man, that's really good. So you decided, first of all, it sounded like you had your foundational thing is, I'm not giving up time for them for anything else. Like, I'm not going to give up being their dad to be anything else.
Exactly.
So is that like you kind of, that's how you move through life? That's your mindset?
It is. It actually is, man. And it's when you said that, you kind of brought me back, man. It was a man named Coach Hassan, big coach. And Coach Hassan took me and some other kids to New Orleans to a New Orleans basketball game when CP3 was cold, man.
Yeah.
Well, he still is, but he was at the top of his career, man. But when he took us, man, it just opened my mind to it's more to Jonesboro than just being in this box, man. It's a whole different world out there, man. And when he took us, man, it was just like, man, I wanna if I have kids or if I know some kids, I wanna do the same thing, And that was just beautiful, and it always stuck with me, And that's where the time come in. I don't want to miss a day, because it might be that day that I miss. It might be that time where I could just open my kids' mind, like, hey, man, I could do better, or I can grow right here,
Right.
or whatever, just stuff like that. So, like I said, man, I ain't missing a day with my kids.
Yeah.
I actually took a step back from coaching to spend more time with my kids, And that's just letting the world know, letting you know, man, I'm a diehard dad first.
Diehard dad first.
Diehard dad, man.
Man, that's good.
Ain't playing.
That's good. So again, I got sent a clip. Someone sent me a clip of it was an NFL coach. I think it was Bruce Arians. And he was telling his coaches on his staff that in so many words, and forgive me if I mess this up a little bit, but he was basically saying, if you miss a recital, if you miss a game, if you miss any of your kids' activities, he liable to fire you.
Come on,
because he's like, all this work will be here. All this, and that's how I take it. All this still gonna be here. And if you die tomorrow, your job is gonna have they might love you and miss you, but somebody gonna be there Monday looking for that job.
I ain't gonna miss you that much.
Your kids, your kids only got you.
Most definitely.
Your kids only got you. So again, just have you seen yourself like because this thing is ebbs and flows. I know it takes balance, because we don't all get it out the gate.
Most definitely.
Did you ever have a moment where you were like, man, I think I slipped a little bit, or like?
Oh yeah, man, yes. Cause like I said, my mom, she was always that person to be at every game. My mom and my aunt. Yeah. And to just just always be there physically. So I kind of try to wrap my life around how they was around me and stuff like that. But man, it was one instance. It was fun day at the school or whatever, and I'm dog tired. I had to play with the kids, break up fights, and just a whole bunch of stuff, you know, as far as teachers, for my teachers looking out there, it's a whole nother job, a whole nother playing field. So it was fun day, man. And I was tired.
Yeah.
Like, I was dog tired. I was tired. So I came home, actually I ate me a sandwich. My wife cooked something. I just came home, ate something, just laid down.
Yeah.
And when my kids came, Daddy, come on outside, play. Come on, let's do this, let's do that. And I was like, no.
You ain't having it.
No, yeah. I was no. And I guess they thought I was playing. They kept saying, Dad, come on, man. I just got mad and started hollering at them and all that good stuff. Didn't feel bad. Laid back down. Woke up. And just the look on their face, it was just like, Daddy, you spent all these time with these other kids, playing with them and being a daddy to them, and you came home and told us to shut up and sit down, you know? And when I thought about it, Holy Spirit, you know, when we talked about it, it was like, man, you wrong, V. You need to spend time with your kids.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Definitely.
All right. So, now, there's a lot of discussion sometimes about like role models, like who can be a role model, who can't be. And so for you, why is it important that, you know, those first role models start at home? Why is that important?
Man, because your walk and your talk got to line up together. Man, this gonna be a whole spiel, man. When I understood me trying to just be a man instead of being the man, that's when my life changed. You know?
Whoa, say that again.
Changed,
that was good.
That's when it changed, man. I'm telling you, man. But your walk and your talk gotta line up together to be a role model, first of all.
Yeah.
And I can't knock my wife's side of the head, cheating on her, have my kids looking dusty, and telling you to do something totally different.
Yeah.
You know, they gonna look at me crazy. But man, it's important for role models to be in the community, because somebody gotta have something to look at, you know. And like, I'll take it back to when I was little, man. I had a whole lot of people telling me what to do, but what I saw was totally different.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So you might tell me not to drink, but I'm seeing you drink, you know. And it's one thing that my aunt always told me, and it still stuck me to this day. She said, Valerio, your name is better than silver and gold. It's in the Bible, though. But you know, it always stuck with me. I always try to keep a good name and do right and treat people right, you know, because you never know who's watching, how they'll take it, and who you'll lead astray, you know. Right. Because that man Jesus, he was on point all the time. He was on point all the time. And that's how I try to conduct my life. Because like I said, I got kids looking at me. I got other people, kids looking at me. I got their parents looking at me.
Right.
You know, so it's not just on me, it's in me. You know, to just look the part, do what God tell me to do, man. Treat people right, man, and the whole nine. So.
And again, you know, there's some people out there who may have made some mistakes. They hadn't maybe lived up to what they saw or the vision for their life, but they still have something.
Come on, talk.
But they still might have a desire, you know, inside of them to want to do something to affect change in their community.
Well, definitely.
Like, what do you say to that person so that they don't give up?
First off, I might have talked good, but it was also some flaws on that journey.
It was a journey, yeah. What didn't happen?
So, man, I just say, just do it, man. Whatever that God leads you to do, just do it, you know. And like I said, man, trial and error. I didn't think that me doing this basketball camp would be a success. Right. I knew the vision that I had for it, but I didn't think that so many kids would sign up. I eventually had like a boys to men type of camp at the school I teach. Didn't think it was gonna be that big, and it just happened, you know. So anything that you do that's positive, or you trying to change somebody's life, man, it's gonna look good. It's gonna be good.
I witnessed the boys to men camp, Lincoln Prep. Get behind this man. Get whatever resources he's needing. That was awesome. Whatever resources he's needing and anything that to make it better, definitely get behind him. Because what I saw with those young guys, and then the jog y'all went on, which I cut short. You took them on a jog, ran with the kids. I was blown away. But I said, that's Valerio. This is how you are who you are. And you do, one thing that I can say is you do demonstrate these qualities at home with your kids. And nobody's perfect, but I've seen you consistently try to always demonstrate these things in front of your kids.
Thank you.
All right, when we're talking about kids, we're talking about bridging the gap. How are you encouraging, I guess I got to start with your kids, to be leaders?
It's tough because sometimes what I say might not, go as far as something with you or somebody else would say, which I don't get.
Yeah.
But kids are kids. So teaching them to be leaders, I just gotta walk right. I gotta talk right. Me and my wife, we gotta be on the same page, which I feel like we are. But like I said, sometimes me saying something and you saying something is totally different. You know, but I'm gonna keep knocking at that door.
Look, I'd say there's still some things, and I know for the fathers out there who are watching this, and I'm one of them. I had to tell mine. So he said, "Y'all know I get paid for my advice, and I give it to y'all for free, and y'all don't want to hear nothing I'm saying."
Man, we need more people around this table, more kids just to hear.
They just, I'll send you. I'll send whoever can get it across, because sometimes it's just,
it's a different person. Man.
When you say it, that's daddy talking. You know what I mean? But it's like it's different when it's coming from somebody else, and it could be the same thing. It could be the same thing said the same way. It's just different. Here you are. Here you go. Okay, here you come.
It's different, but like I said, man, it's a hard road to be a father, and I'm not just saying that because it's a whole lot of people saying it who not really fathers, but the people who are fathers, die-hard fathers, man, you got to be a father not only to your kids but people to the community, man, because that's a big job, man. And like I said, you gotta find some type of way to motivate your kids, and to discipline them in a way where when they go out into the world, they'll be okay, And it's daily conversations I have with my daughter and my son. Don't do this, do that. Be on your P's and Q's. Listen. Don't talk back. Like, just the whole nine, And sometimes it just, daddy got to pull up to that school,
Look, but and I say a prayer even with mine. I say, Lord, even when they out there, if my kids out there acting like I ain't never taught them nothing, just give them grace. The same grace I needed.
Come on now.
Because, you get around the corner away from mama, you know what I mean? It's just, but you gotta also always, you keep your kids in prayer for that reason, because,
Because favor ain't fair.
Yeah, and sometimes they might be out there.
That's right.
He might have did it.
That's right.
Some parents, my baby ain't do that. You hear it, that sound like him.
But there ain't no switching with that. I know he did it. Come on.
Yes. So that's really good. Just so I'm hearing you. So you having meaningful conversations with your kids, though, always encouraging them.
Yes.
And getting them to try to think, and be leaders.
Yes.
Man, that's good.
That's one thing we do. We pray every day.
Yeah.
We have daily affirmations every day. Like, I am who I am. I'm gonna be better than I was yesterday. Just little stuff like that.
Right.
Just to put it in their head subconsciously or something that they know that they somebody.
Right.
Even when they're away from that and they know how to act.
Right.
Okay,
so now, just in, you establishing that, bridging that gap with your kids, also too, there's coaches out there trying to bridge gaps with their community, with their players. So what would you say to a coach who's having a hard time connecting with his athlete?
Well, first you gotta understand these are still kids. They don't know you. They don't care what you did. They don't care that you done played at Grambling State. They don't care that you was the man in high school. They don't care.
It's tough, but he's right, Coach. They don't care.
They don't care. I'm telling you, they don't care. But that time you put in,
right?
Like what we was just talking about, the time you put in, the love, the genuine love that you show to them. Yeah. Because some stuff it might not be on your job description to do. If little Tay pop somebody across the head, and acting crazy at home, it might not be in your job description to pop up at his house. But that's something you got to do. To build that relationship and let him know I'm going to be here and I'm going to stay here. Because for one, you can't whoop me. Come on now. And for two, hey, come on.
Right.
You can't whoop me. And for two, I'm going to be here because I love you. And I'm going to do the same thing what I do for my kids for you.
Right.
And it's been a whole lot of times I had to do pull-ups. I had to say, hey, man, what you doing? Your mama called me and telling me you acting crazy. Why? This ain't what we do. And it's just the look, the humbling on their face when a grown man talk to them and sit them down and talk to them like a grown man, and how the whole situation changes when somebody like that talks to the kid.
Right.
But like I said, you got to put in that time and show that love. Cause I can tell you, but I got to show you. You know.
So I'm hearing guidance too. You know, like you got to provide some guidance. So what about one who's trying to build trust in his with his community with him? Like he's having trouble gaining the trust of the community. What's some things he needs to know or look out for?
Man, the niggas at that church, your walk and your talk gotta line up together.
Oh,
it gotta line up. I can't be in little Tay mama inbox saying what's up. You know, I can't do stuff like that because the community gonna look at me different. You know, and people around me gonna look at me different.
Right.
You gotta understand, whatever that you do, man, you on a pedestal, and people looking at you. Not only your kids, but people in the community. So I can't do nothing for them, you know. And for those coaches who trying to, you know, I heard you say get in good with the community or whatever, man. Your walk and your talk gotta line up together.
Right.
And with that being said, man, you gotta have a good relationship with the good Lord, man. You gotta read that Bible. You gotta dig deep into yourself and find what you need to do to get better. You know, because that's what I did. As
far as boundaries, creating boundaries and schedules that prioritize your professional life, those goes with your family time. Like, where would you say you are right now with those boundaries? Are you really good about keeping things straight? Is it still a challenge? Like, what would you say?
Well, now, yes.
Yeah.
But back then, no.
Oh, okay. All right.
Back then, no. Man, it took some time. And my wife, she plays a big part in it. She plays a big part in that, man. Because some stuff she used to say, I'm like, oh, man, she tripping. I feel like I'm doing right because I'm out there with the kids, helping them, pulling up to their house and all that, you know, all the stuff I'm saying. But family time is important, you know. Just the littlest things, just taking my wife to the movies and taking the kids out. It's just, you know, balancing that time out. And she always used to keep me on point. But, you know, me, I used to be like, oh, man, she nagging. No, she's telling the truth, you know. But she kept me on point as far as balancing my time and understanding the importance of family, even if just everybody at the table sitting down eating, you know. Right. Because I wasn't really used to that, you know. My mama cook a meal, I could go in my room, watch TV, or go in the living room, but she brought a whole lot of family-oriented things that I needed to do, you know, and which was everybody at the table eating, you know, simple stuff like that. And, yeah, shout out to my wife.
Oh, man, that's good. That's good. So you have those things. Again, your wife's up to you, kind of establish like a family base. Who do you call when you have questions? Because, I mean, all mentors have, you know, somebody that they talk to, you know, in a sense. Who do you call?
Ooh, that's tough. I call God first.
Okay, call God. That's the first call.
Yeah.
That needs to be the first call, yeah.
But really, I don't really call on people, but I just talk to people, you know.
Oh, okay.
Like good conversation, you know, and something that's probably bothering me, it might come up, you know, like you a perfect example. Okay. You know, some stuff that I deal with, I might just not come out and talk to you about or whatever the case may be. But us just shooting a bird, you know, it might help me figure out what to do in that situation.
Kind of helps you sort through it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, man, I don't really have a person that I could just call on. My mama, you know, sometimes I can talk to her about certain situations, but it's kind of different, you know.
Yeah.
My brother, but, you know, he's still a knucklehead.
Yeah.
I don't really have that person that I could just call on and just kind of vent to, you know, about certain situations. But like I was saying, I kind of figure out when I talk and pray to God, or I just talk to somebody like you, you know, it'll kind of come to me.
Kind of leads you where you need to go.
Most definitely.
All right. So, just as far as like your whole life journey, again, going from where you started from when you were playing ball to, you know, coaching, being a dad, whichever came first.
Coaching came first.
Coaching came first. That's what I thought. Yeah. So then coaching, then being a dad. You know, you're a husband. You got all these different hats. How do you make space for yourself? Because you also have to have boundary too. Sometimes you gotta.
Most definitely.
Valerio gotta have time for Valerio.
Most definitely. Scott, I'm a father. I'm a coach. I'm an educator. I got 5 degrees. It's a whole lot of stuff that I accomplished that the good Lord allowed me to accomplish.
Right.
But I do make time for myself. But it's also in the balance with my kids.
Yeah.
I'll go play basketball, and when we go to the Boys and Girls Club, it's a little playroom that I could put the kids in while I play, you know. But I can vividly say and be real transparent, I really haven't found that balance yet. I don't think I need to, because I think I'm at peace with myself.
Yeah.
You know?
Your balance kind of comes with them.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I have so much joy with my kids, with my wife, with the kids in the community. Like I said, it ain't just on me, it's in me, you know?
Yeah.
So I find joy in doing that, and if I wasn't doing it, I feel like I'd be miserable. Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so, man, 2017, you had a really scary situation that happened. Scary for you, scary for a lot of people, scary for your family.
Okay.
Can you kind of take us through what was going on and kind of like what happened?
Okay. Well, there's some people really don't know. You know, everybody know I had brain surgery, but they don't know the backstory of it. When I first got into college, I had a whole lot of people, a whole lot of friends, which is cool, that didn't really just believe in God. You know, a lot of atheists, Muslim, all that good stuff, which was they were real cool people. You know, but it made me dive deeper into different religions and different perspectives of who God really is, you know? And when I dove into that YouTube rabbit hole and all that good stuff, I kind of strayed away from my faith. You know, like I said, I've been in the church. I know God, and them deacons kept me in line, you know?
Yeah.
Shout out to Travis Rich. But those different aspects of my life drove me kind of away from the faith.
Yeah.
And one day, I remember asking God, I said, God, if you real, no, Jesus, if you are real. But like I said, the different religions I was looking up and stuff like that, they believed in God, but they still thought Jesus was a prophet. So, one day, I said, Jesus, if you real, show me. Show me right now if you real. Because I'm confused. I don't know what to think. It's so much other stuff in this world that's just telling me that you're not real. You were just a prophet. So, that day I said, Jesus, if you real, show me. Days went by, weeks went by, and nothing happened. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh, you know, I might need to kind of transfer this Christianity thing to something else. So I went to New Orleans for a family reunion. Didn't want to go at first at all. So my wife said, come on, let's just go. Let's just have fun, all right? So I went. I'm up there cutting up on bourbon, having a good time, man. Just being around good people, family, all that good stuff. Then that next day, I had a real bad headache and literally dropped to the floor. Didn't know what was going on. I'm throwing up. I'm shaking. My eyes are dilated. So my wife called an ambulance or whatever. And when they pulled up, they were just asking me questions. You know, I'm kind of out of it. And they was like, man, what's wrong with you? I said, man, I've been drinking. I had a couple grenades and bourbon. I'm just drunk or whatever. And my wife said, something else wrong with him. He done threw up everywhere on the floor. He done just looking real kind of bad. And they took me to Oxnard, which is like the best neuron surgeon, whatever, in Louisiana. Neurosurgeon. But they took me up there and they diagnosed me with AVM, arterial venous malformation. And man, when I say it was still for me to just get back to the old me as far as learning how to read, getting my coordination right as far as walking, and just a whole bunch of stuff. You know, it was just a journey. And
so, again, for them, this AVM, this was an aneurysm.
Yes.
Okay. And I've heard you say before, this is hereditary?
No, not necessarily. One out of a million Americans get it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It was something crazy like that.
Okay.
So that's how the doctor kind of explained it to me. It kind of just happened. It's like a malformation, you know, brain vessel that's not necessarily supposed to be there. And it causes bleeding on the brain and the whole nine. I wish I had my wife here to kind of explain it to me. She good at that. But that happened. And when that happened, when I was in the hospital, the good Lord said, can you see me now? Am I real to you now? Am I real to you now?
Boy.
And when he said that, man, it just stuff started kind of shifting, you know. And like I said, I don't feel like I was just a bad dude in the community as far as doing other things, but I could have did a whole lot more.
Right.
And that's when my faith started getting a little bit better, you know. And I left the hospital in 3 days.
Wow.
3 days. I left the hospital in 3 days.
3 days.
3 days. Like I had the flu.
So you got there, you were in a coma?
Oh, yeah, I passed out. I think it was for like a couple of hours, something like that. Yeah, passed out.
Man.
And it's just a whole lot of stuff I just don't remember. Like I said, I wish my wife was here to kind of, you know, talk me through it, because she was there through the whole thing, and my mama. But it was different, man. Like I said, I remember all of the mistakes I did during that process. I remember asking Jesus if he real. I remember listening to my partners and agreeing with him, like, man, that dude kind of makes sense, you know. Jesus might have been a prophet, you know, and stuff like that. But I remember as clear as day, he said, "Do you see me? Do you hear me now? Do you need me?" You know. And that's when the transformation happened. And like I said, I don't feel like I was just a horrible person or somebody who was just doing some ill will stuff in the streets. But my faith became better. My walk with God became closer, and I knew my purpose in life.
Right. Wow. So today, you know, and I've heard you, you know, all the way through everything we've discussed so far. How would you describe your faith today?
Oh, we here.
we good. No.
We here.
Yeah, we good.
We just like we here.
Yeah.
But I don't have no question, no doubt, no none of that. You know, we here. Jesus is Lord. That's who I pray to. That's who my kids pray to. That's who my wife pray to. That's people in the community who I mentor pray to. But that journey, I needed that. You know, I needed for God to sit me down. I needed for him to show me who he was. You know, not saying that he didn't show me in different aspects in life that he was really God, but I needed something drastic like that to open my eyes. To lead somebody, to talk to people, because it's a whole lot of my I ain't gonna say homeboys, but people that I just see who not really close with God like that, and they ask me questions, you know, and since my faith is strong, I could lead them in the right direction,
right?
You know, and I could tell them my story. I went through this, and I'm not playing. I still got the scar. I don't know if you can zoom in, but it's still there. You know, right there, still there. And when I say when I transformed, I went back to school, started back coaching. Got another master's degree. Just the little stuff, playing with my kids, playing basketball. You know, I just went back to normal. You know, and
you know, I heard it said one time before. If you know, we complain or you might like ice cream, and it tastes good, but then you take it for granted till you lose your taste buds. You get those taste buds, but that ice cream tastes even better.
Come on, Scott. Come on. You can't tell me nothing unless you've been through it.
Yeah.
You can't help me unless you walk through that fire.
That's it. That's it. All right. So Valerio. So man, impactful discussion. Great. I think that this is going to really help a lot of people. But kind of tell us. So what's next? What's next for you? What are you working on? You always got something going.
Oh yeah, man. I'm going to do another camp.
Okay.
Boys to Men camp.
Okay.
Know. More like a reform camp, you know, like kind of like what I did last year. You was there, I had speakers, I had a whole lot of people talk to the kids, and a whole lot of just positive stuff. Man.
Yeah.
And I want to bring more fathers in and see if they could do that with me. And just, I really don't know what's next, to be honest, but I know it's gonna be something big and beautiful.
Right. So I know we got another camp, and again, it was. Tell me the name of the camp again.
Boys to Men.
It was Boys to Men. So it's going to be a Boys to Men. Is it going to be 2024, 2025? Like, what are you thinking? Springtime, fall?
It might be in the fall or summer.
Okay.
Depending how I get the stuff together.
Right.
And plan it. But it's going to be another one. You know.
Okay.
It's definitely going to be another one.
So you get ready to do it again. You're going to come back. We're going to come back and have another discussion. And you know, who knows? Maybe even bring a kid or somebody from that previous camp.
Oh yeah, they gonna show up.
Okay, yeah. So we'll do that. So I'm excited. I know Do you ever think at a point that you might revisit growth and development?
Man, if I had a dime as far as how many parents ask me that, I'd be a rich man.
Yeah.
Most definitely, yeah. I will. Parents been asking me about a basketball camp when I'm gonna do it again because, like I said, it was something big and beautiful, man. I had like 40 some kids,
Yeah.
probably 50, and it was something beautiful, man. I might, keyword, might revisit whatever the good Lord, man, whatever walk He want me to walk, I'm gonna do it.
I witnessed it. It was amazing. When I walked in to speak, and the first thing I noticed, which these things take on the personality of the person that's over them.
Mm-hmm.
When I walked in, there was kids running on the bleachers.
Mm-hmm.
They were running, doing stadiums, and there was kids, they were working out on the courts. Mm-hmm. It was organized. It was smooth. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, man. Like, that was my first time going. That was the first year I went. Uh-huh. And the reception, I'm sure, I know was amazing. Some of those kids have gone on to do some really, really cool things.
Yeah.
Like some of those kids have, are still playing ball.
Yeah.
I know that where we're from, they appreciated it.
Oh yeah.
I saw it. And those kids, I know they appreciate it. So, and for those out there who have been blessed by growth and development, now if you're at the age where you've aged out, it's time for you to give back. So come on back, let's help, because one thing you always need is a volunteer. You always want to have some volunteers. So, and again, to kind of close out as far as the fatherhood and leadership, for the dad out there, who's teetering, he ain't getting along with his baby mama. Him and his woman, it ain't vibing. It's just not seeming like it's going right. Or a man would, he might be giving thoughts to leaving his family. And everybody got their own journey that they own. But what do you say to those fathers about the role that they play as leaders in their households?
I need another hour. 'Cause, man, I can go on how important fatherhood is. Yeah. How important you just being there. It can go on and on, man. But my tip to you, as far as if you're going through something, man, you are valued. You are important. And the world might not see you like that. They might see, oh, this is just your obligation, or this is just your job to do, which it is, But at the end of the day, man, it can change not only one kid life, but like the whole world. It's like a domino effect. And man, you're so valuable because you set up the structure, the balance, the timing, just the foundation of how everything is gonna roll in your house, right, just by you being there, or what you put into your house.
Man, that's impactful. So I heard you say this and clarify this. Me being there for my kids affects the kids they're around.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So I need to know if my kid's safe with your kids. You need to be in the house.
Yeah.
Because man, it's a different vibe when you got a father. Not discrediting the mothers out there, so don't get under the comment section. Y'all mothers are valued. I love my mama and all the mothers out there. Yeah. But it's a different vibe and a feeling when you getting talked to by a grown man. It's a different place where you will calm somebody down, especially a boy. And like I said, I did it before. There's been plenty of situations where the mom called me and he about to bust a hole in the wall, And I come there and say a couple words, and he sitting down, pulling his pants up and listening, So it's a different feel when a dad, a real man, comes in the room and tells you to sit your butt down and act right. And it's a different experience when you're trained up by a father, and when you are comforted or loved by a father. You walk with confidence, you walk with love, you walk with dignity. You know how to carry yourself, in a sense. So.
Wow. Thank you for being here with us. We appreciate you. It's been another great conversation. I appreciate Valerio for being here. Thank you for giving us your time. We look forward to having you back on here, especially when we start talking about these camps that are coming. Do me a favor. Make sure that you subscribe, share, and like. Get in the comment section. Join the community discussions on the Impact Leadership 365. And we look forward to seeing you again. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, man.
All right.